Hi everyone. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome and hello. My name is Britt Lynn, and I want to say there's been something like 300 new subscribers pretty much to this channel. Much thanks to my cleaning out the closet episode. That one is just getting up and up and up and up and up in views. What I wanted to make a video on today is a few weeks ago on my Instagram, I put out a story about going sober and stopping drinking and smoking cannabis. I know I've done a video on here before, but now it's a few months later and I kind of wanted to update you, and I've been getting a lot of questions about this process and this transition on social media. So I was like, why not open it up and do like a Q&A style video. I've never really done one of these before, so I think it'll be fun. And without further ado, if you are curious to know, or if you're feeling the calling somewhere deep inside of you to get curious about what your life would look like sober and you want to hear somebody's story firsthand, please keep watching. So, hi everyone. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Britt, and basically this channel is a lot about personal development, spiritual expansion, and just kind of growth overall, like mind, body, soul, wellness, feeling really great in your life. That's why I made that cleaning out my closet and going more minimal. Oh, my husband's home. So basically the way that I wanted to start out this video is with a message from a person that I got. These are all direct messages from Instagram, and if you don't already follow me on Instagram, you can kindly find me there at Brittlyn Yoga, BRITTLYNN Yoga. Let's go into it. I'm going to leave all of these questions anonymous. Hi, I just came across your page and got pulled in. Then I saw your post regarding the benefits of sobriety. This is something I've been thinking a lot about. I lost my dad almost a year ago to liver failure after many years of abusing alcohol. Yes, some would assume that would be enough to give it up. I have done a lot of work around personal growth this year and not sure if I have room in my life for drinking anymore. Just curious on what led to your decision. Thanks. So, I really resonate with this question. Basically, at the beginning of this year, I stopped drinking alcohol, and at the beginning of November of last year, I stopped smoking cannabis. And the reason why these really went together, and no, it's not like I would get like stoned out of my mind or drink alcohol in excess. I do have a past with alcohol. I started drinking maybe around like 18 or something, and I've mentioned on this channel before I've gotten a DUI, and I've just had kind of a past with alcohol, and I really was just curious and yearning so badly to experience a feeling of more self-control in my life. I would really kind of get bored going to sleep every night, either having ingested some type of inebriant, so either having, you know, like a few beers with my now husband, or just smoking and watching TV. Like this super monotonous cycle had started for us, and I just said, you know, I'm gonna really try something for me. I'm gonna try what life feels like without this. And especially with the cannabis, smoking nightly, even though I've done some really amazing medicinal grounding work with myself with cannabis, I just wanted to experience that. And I think it's really healthy to take breaks from stuff. So if you are feeling like something doesn't have a place in your life anymore, really just start getting curious about that and thinking like, well, what is it that I want to see my nights looking like, or my afternoons, or how would my life be different without this? And if that kind of thought triggers some fear or discomfort in you, look at that. That's a really good clue that it might be time for a change, because these things that we are able to get ourselves addicted to are just not good for us, and they mask a lot of our feelings around a lot of different topics, a lot of different avenues in our life, and they're different for everyone. So that is a wonderful first question, and let's keep going. The lighting's changing a little bit, so I'm going to move this. Okay, that's better. Hey there, saw your post on things that have changed since stopping smoking and drinking. I've been on the fence for a bit. I'm curious what you like to know about or if you have questions to consider. It makes a lot of sense, but it's challenging when a lot of social things are around it. I don't want to change all my friends, but we do love going to the brewery together. LOL, I love you to give any resources that are helpful. I'm turning 30 and feel like it would be time moving forward. So this is a really good one. I think that if any of you are really thirsty for a change inside of your life and that cuts out inebriants, alcohol, I don't know, cigarettes, cannabis, any sort of drug use, and you are fearing that you won't have the friends around you if you're not participating in that activity, that's really, really something to look at. It gets me to a place that's like, are those friendships authentic? Are they authentic if they're not willing to hang out with you outside of those social situations that are revolving around those substances? Does that make sense? So, for instance, when I was younger, I had friends that I would pretty much purely just drink with. I would only see them pretty much whenever we were all drinking together. I never really had these pulls to stop drinking during that time, but then obviously they weren't necessarily authentic friendships that I would like have phone conversations about really deep stuff or be able to turn to them whenever something was going on in my life. So I naturally found those people falling away from me, and that was hurtful at first, especially because of my past that I've had with really making genuine friendships. It was hurtful for me to think that those people weren't there for me. But then at the same time, it's just a natural part of the process. Friends fall away all the time, and the ones that stick around are the ones that are meant to stick around. So if you are fearful of not having these same friends, just know that maybe those friendships aren't the most authentic ones that you want, or that are going to even be there decades and decades from now, especially if they're not able to really congratulate and support you and honor you through this transition that you're making and make time for you separately outside of that space. Hope that helps. I would love to know more about your sobriety, especially in regards to cannabis. When and why did you decide to stop? I use it fairly regularly. Sometimes I feel good about it and I can feel elevated consciousness and peacefulness under the influence. Other times it feels like a dependency and it makes me more disconnected. Depends on the strain and my own state of mind, I think. Well, yes, I can't resonate more with this. Some nights I would utilize cannabis and just watch a lot of TV and watch like TV shows with my man, and I totally resonate with feeling the elevated consciousness and being able to like really think outside of the box of my own like ways that I navigate inside of my internal system, and understanding my own processes a lot better. Cannabis is really amazing for elevating your ability to think in those ways, but at the same time it's also I want to think, for me it certainly was habitually addictive. It was hard for me to go a day without cannabis. Like I wouldn't have sober nights ever, and that is just so cool to think about because I just live so differently now and I sleep so much better. I sleep so much better. However, I will say, and this goes for alcohol as well, I have used them since those dates. So as far as cannabis, I have had a handful of times since the beginning of November that it has felt really, really appropriate and that I've really wanted to engage in a social circumstance or whatever that involves this substance. So specific nights where I have things going on with my husband where he and I really want to go deep together. For me, it's all about set and setting. So if the set and the setting is really, really appropriate and we feel that we would be able to benefit medicinally from this substance, I'm gung-ho. I'm like really, really on board with utilizing it. But as far as doing it kind of unconsciously and not necessarily having a plan behind it, that's kind of the thing that I wanted to get away from. The same thing for alcohol. I have had 3 instances, I think, since the beginning of January that I have consumed alcohol. Again, not to excess, but the first time was when we got married. We actually had a part of our wedding ceremony where we were exchanging our sacred energies. So I was feeding Curtis, my husband, a piece of cake to offer the feminine sacred energy. So I fed him a piece of cake during the ceremony, and he gave me a goblet of red wine, and I took a sip of that. And then I had a glass of wine at dinner. So that was the first day. He really, really wanted me to have a tequila paloma with him on his birthday, so I did that. And then this last weekend at Coachella too, I had maybe like 3 beers over the course of 3 days, 2 days, just because I wanted to, and it's delicious, and I wasn't doing anything to excess. But this is another really good point that I want to make, especially if you don't necessarily have like an addictive personality or an addiction to these substances, but you just want to kind of get away from having it as an everyday occurrence. Like, if you want to do something, just do it. Don't give yourself a super hard time about it. Really, I think what these changes are all about in our lives is just honoring what's going on inside of us, honoring the way that we feel, honoring our conscious and unconscious patterns that we have in our lives. So for me, I was smoking and drinking on a daily basis. I was not having nights where I allowed myself to not ingest something. And now I've been like 6 months without cannabis and 4 months without alcohol, and I feel amazing. So if I want to, you know, every once in a while have a drink of something, I'm not going to give myself a super hard time about it. And that kind of leads into my next question. I'd love to hear your thoughts on not complete sobriety, but maybe a change where a person would choose to only drink a few nights per month. How might that make an impact for someone? I mean, honestly, this is not even for me to say. You have your own life, and obviously if you're just craving more sober nights throughout the month, then I think it would make a really great impact on you. These are the things where it doesn't necessarily matter what anybody else has to say or think on the subject, because you're the only person that's living in your shoes and experiencing your life as you know it. So if you're craving something, and this goes for anybody, if you're craving something to look differently and you think it would feel really good, or you're even just curious about it, for heaven's sakes, do it. Like, give yourself, have the willpower to see yourself through. Moon ceremony would be a really, really great place to set intention for this. Like a new moon, what that represents is like the moon's shadow, and what it tells us is to look inside at our own shadows and to look inside at what is not on the surface, what is not seen by all. If you have those kinds of addictive patterns or whatever, a new moon would be a really great place to set intention toward creating change in your life. So that is my thought on that. I like this. Can you touch on feelings of embarrassment around being sober? When someone asks me if I want to drink, I feel weird repeating over and over that I'm sober and then following with why. I know I shouldn't be, but my mind goes straight to those thoughts. So this is a really good little lesson in just owning your story and honoring what's going on with you and being proud of what you're going through. I know I used to feel the same way about being vegan. I didn't really, and I still don't really like to be like, I'm vegan, you know, and make a thing of it or anything, because there's already so much built up around the vegan community anyways. And this is something to maybe get curious about in your own friend group as well, is do you trigger people? In my experience, it's kind of triggered some people, it seems like, whenever I let them know that I stopped drinking or that I'm not currently drinking, or no, I don't want any cannabis, thank you. And people, or telling them I'm vegan too, like they want to let you know why they're not vegan or that they tried veganism or not drinking one time in their life. And all of that's fine, because that's outside stuff and you don't have to worry about that. But don't feel embarrassed. I think it's a really, really good opportunity to step into having a really vulnerable moment with someone and saying, this is why I chose to do it, and here's how I'm feeling about it, and it feels so good in my life. And it could be really, really inspirational to somebody else. You just really don't know. Or you could trigger them and go in the opposite direction. You really just don't know. But my point in all of that is to just not feel ashamed. Definitely never feel ashamed about anything that you're choosing to do to better your own life. Know that, yeah, it might just be uncomfortable the first few times, but don't feel uncomfortable. Try not to, at least. What about this one? Hi, so I've been trying to stop smoking weed since 2015, and it's been on my heart for a long time. The last couple of weeks I've been able to, for the first time, yay, go all day without smoking until 8 p.m. The hardest part is dealing with my anxiety and insomnia. How did you do it? Did you struggle just as much? It feels ridiculous because it's just weed, right? No one warned me about these withdrawals. Any tips would be much appreciated. So this is super fun too. Yes, absolutely. What I discovered after realizing and creating awareness around the fact that I pretty much never let myself experience a sober night is that I was masking a lot of things. I was choosing not to look at specific things. And for me, those, are just some really internal issues that I have not necessarily worked out yet. And that's totally fine. All of us have our own processes that are going on at all times. So really what I would recommend is just sitting with it, sitting with the things that come up, because usually the places that we experience anxiety are like tears that have not fallen, screams that have not been allowed to come out, feelings that have not been expressed, emotions that are being stuffed away. These are where, for me, in my experience, where their stems come from. So whenever I'm able to look at these things and say, man, what are my anxieties about? And then really allowing myself to sit with them and seeing them and not shutting them away anymore. That's when the healing is really able to start happening. And then it becomes easier and easier and easier to sit with yourself in a sober state, because you know that you're taking care of yourself and you're loving yourself and you're making really healthy decisions for yourself. And then I feel like those positive actions can bleed over all the other avenues of your life. So you just start feeling better, functioning better, you're getting better sleep. It's just been a game changer for me all the way around. Feel into the discomforts. So those are them. Those are my 7 questions. I love that I had 7 questions to answer today. So I hope that you found this entertaining, maybe, helpful at all. And if you have further questions on this subject, please let me know. As I said before, if you're not already following me on Instagram, feel free to connect with me there. And also, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure to do that so you don't miss any of my upcoming stuff. I guess YouTube has a thing now where you have to do a little bell so that you specifically get notified for someone's videos if you want to see them. So make sure to not only subscribe, but hit the little bell as well so you don't miss any of my stuff. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again in an upcoming video. Namaste.